Thank you for being a member. Davy, Maya, Erwin, Frogcat Dog, Zephyr, Strong, Tall, Handsome, Muscular, Raw, Dominant Man, Static Gray, Kikiri, Chichikun, Rimu, Asp, Thermetro, Joy-Con, Pukang Kang, Tanner, YB, Louisa, Mark, Second Minx, Trash, Equitas, Riley, Chalk, Kyrain, Knight, Shendot, Holy Shrimps, Lewis, The Zesty Lime, Zenith, Sizzling Rice, Ken Guap, Sham, Holly, Bubba Bones, K Maurice, and Dweeb. Thank you for being a member. Hello everybody, Papoki here, and it's time for another build. So Edge of Fate came out, right? And the difficulty of the game got drastically harder, right? 100 to 200, 200 to 270, it's crazy. The power difference, the enemy difference is wild. And last night, I poured over every single build available on Hunter, all exotics, literally every single one. Here, I can give you a play-by-play right now. So, boom, Mask of Bacchus requires killing enemies in mass within 10 seconds. Doesn't work that great. Mask of Fealty, pretty much dead. Young Ahamkara's Spine, it's the same thing as it always was. It never got buffed, never got nerfed. Shards of Galanor, it's the same thing as it used to be. Kepri's Sting, might as well not even have it active in the first place. Caliban's Hand, even without 200 melee, it cannot kill a red bar still. Triton Vice, it's awesome, but still the damage is way too low for regular majors. And the list goes on. Ophidius Faith, fantastic exotic, melee damage out the wazoo, but it's on solar, so you're gonna die every 2 seconds. You just can't survive. Moirai, the new exotic, it is completely useless. Completely useless. Getting your thread spike back in 2 to 3 hits, cool, but you can just do it in 5, or just run Hoil and get it back, the little edge back regardless. So basically, oh, and Speedloader Slacks, those are good, but that's a DPS build. That's entirely, removed from Roam content. So basically, every build that used to be on Hunter, including Liar's Handshake, Arc Punch, is pretty much dead because they all require stacking kills. And guess what? That's all of Hunter. So this build has been in the game for many years, but has been completely broken, so I refrained from posting it. But it has been fixed. So what is this lovely doubly build? Inmost Cytarachne, yep, you've heard this name a lot. This was dubbed the best build of the final shape, and with the release of Edge of Fate, it has gotten considerably stronger. First, let's just get the mods out of the way. Special Ammo Finder to get our special ammo meter up, Arc Siphon and Harmonic Siphon with Sounds and Squall, so we can get an Arc and Stasis for our Tenacious Mastery and Graviton Spike. We have Heavy Handed for an orb on our melee kills, Focusing Strike, and Impact Induction to help Inmost Light get my abilities back. For the chest plate, we have a Stasis Ammo Generation for our special sidearm, and a Solar and Arc Resistance because Vex are the main enemy of the expansion. We have Recuperation, plus 41 health, so we can actually get a good amount of health per orb. Also, we are going to be getting Facet of Purpose proc on this, so very good. Stasis Scavenger, so we can get extra ammo for our Eager Edge Sword and our Tenacious Mastery, with stacks on stacks to get 2 orbs per 1 orb pickup. Fantastic. Then the classic Special Ammo Finisher, Proxy Ward, and Reaper mods. This allows you to spam special ammo. Now, the setup of stats. This is the most important thing in the Edge of Fate and the most important thing about Hoil Cytarachne. So, stats are pretty complicated, and I'm not going to tell you how they work. I'm just going to tell you what you need. So, for Hoil Cytarachne, you need 100 melee, 100 grenade, and 100 class. And you can't forget about your super because, well, if you have less than 70, you might as well not even have a super equipped. The super regen times are super slow now after the Edge of Fate's release. So if you can manage to get 100, 100, 170, and the rest put into health, you're going to have a really fun time. Now, on to the subclass. This is a classic setup. This has been the same setup for the entirety of the final shape, and it is to now. So, Silence and Squall. We're using this 1 because it's a good super, 2, it charges fast, and 3, it gives us stasis armor when we pick up an orb. It's going to proc on Ascension and is going to work at any Distance, we don't have to be near enemies. Threaded Spike, so we can sever enemies for even more passive DR. Grapple, so we can get easier Woven Mail and Shield Crush capabilities. Stylish Executioner, so we can weaken enemies and we can go invisible constantly, you know, good sustain. Ascension, so we can get amplified for 15% DR and enemies stop looking at you. It deals a little bit of damage to enemies and you can now cast it at any distance. Wonderful. Faster Protection, it's not going to be active all the time, but when your enemies are plentiful and they die really slow, Faster Protection does show its true colors in the Edge of Fate. It's really good, you should probably use it. Faceted Purpose, this is so when we pick up an orb, we're going to get a bunch of effects, but for this build, we are using Frost Armor. You can also use the Void Overshield if you want. That is also a great option. Facet of Dawn, so when we throw our Threaded Spike, we are going to get Radiant. This is just for damage and for dealing with anti-barrier champions. We also have Facet of Hope, which makes it to where when we have an elemental buff, 30 to 60% increased class ability regeneration, depending on how many buffs you have. Amplified is 1, Radiant is 2, that leads us to having a 60% class ability regeneration that is also buffed by 90% from our class stat. Now, onto the Mythic campaign gameplay to show you off, right, how it works. I'll see you there. And welcome to Mythic Kepler. Wow, what a fantastic place. What a really fun location to play Destiny 2 in, right? So how does this build work? Very simple. Woven Mail, 45% DR. Ascension, 15% DR. Your melee gives another 40% DR to the enemy that it hits, and their damage incoming towards you. With the 100 stats of the new system, this allows you to spam it even more, and guess what? Ascension procs Hoil now. It used to not, but now it does. So basically, we are trying to keep up amplification and Woven Mail as much as possible, because without it, it is kind of impossible to survive Mythic enemies in the first place. Like, they take no damage from anything, so you really have to... It's basically attrition. You just have to keep going. But as long as the enemies are severed and you have Woven Mail and you periodically use Ascension to get amplified, you are pretty much invincible, even in Mythic content. The only thing that's going to stop you is if you run out of one of these buffs. If you run out, you're basically done so don't. And our orbs are going to give us Frost Armor, which stacks on top of all our other DR sources. I just reloaded a hand cannon as if it had a magazine, don't worry about that. And Transcendence with 100 in each stat is really crazy. The ability regeneration is very, very high. You can spam it a ton more than you used to be, which is quite cool. And that's pretty much it. Mythic enemies are basically the hardest enemies in Destiny right now, and this build absolutely stomps on them. So that's basically it. You can use the Shield Crush artifact perk if you have it to get increased damage and faster regen for both your grenade and your melee. I've taken this on, I've taken it off, and it's hard to really tell the difference. It seems to be a lot more dulled down than it used to be, but I would still have it equipped anyways because it is always going to be active regardless. Anyways, that was the build. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.